This is Coffee with Timmy.
Hello. How are you? Welcome back to Coffee with Timmy. How are you doing? Today I'm going to be ranting a little bit. Maybe not a little bit, but I always speak for this podcast. I talk about things that I am passionate about, things that concerns me, things that concerns the generation that are coming up, and where we're going with that. So there's something rotten in the state of Denmark. Oh wow. You know that feeling when something feels off, but everyone is acting like it's fine? Like when curse words fly in corporate meetings, or when office outfits looks like, we're going to the club Friday night. Today I want to talk about our blind spots. We all have them. Those places where right and wrong used to be clear. We knew what was good and what was bad. But now we're pretending we can't see because we don't want to be cancelled, to use the word that young people use. This episode is not about judgment. It's about clarity. Let's talk about what's rotting underneath the surface and why does it matter to me? Why am I concerned about it? I'll try and address this in no particular order, but just what I have noticed. First is the social norms that have changed over time. There's a shift in what we are accepting culturally. There's things have shifted gradually to the point where we have accepted as normal what shouldn't be, as normal what never used to be. Not all things are progressive. Not all change are progressive. Not because the world is moving ahead, we got to move with it. I'm looking and I'm seeing that in some aspects we have thrown out the bath water, the baby, and even the soap, everything out. Now, where do we draw the line? And first, who moved it? When was it moved? So this rant started in my head last week because, and I'm saying I probably came late to this party. I came across something that said the outfit for the office siren. And I thought, in what universe do these words go together? Or how do you dress as an office siren? How do you dress to the office? The words don't. I think visually, and I cannot figure it out. I saw photos, I saw images, and then I saw videos of women who have done this and the outcome. So we have inappropriate dressing in professional spaces. That's basically what it is. I've noticed this for a while. It's bad enough when you see women in broad daylight dressed like they're making the walk of shame. But these women are just going to work in a corporate environment. They dress like it's the weekend, baby, or maybe going to the beach day. And I wonder, was there nobody in your house to talk to you? How do you leave the house dressed like this, going to the office? And I wonder what is going on here. The worst thing about these women, they cannot understand what they're doing wrong. They don't see it. They look at themselves and they think this is okay. Let me go through everything and then I'll try and put it all together. There's a carelessness that just amazes me in how people who want to be taken seriously in a professional environment dress in what they see as expressing themselves. You don't go to the office to express yourself. You're going to work. It's not about you when you get to the office, but they want to express themselves as if this is going to make a difference to their delivery at work. And it's a certain generation, there is it's not being casual. We started dressing down, I'll say, some years ago when we say smart casual. This is being careless in the way you're going to the office. This is you wearing spaghetti strap without a jacket and wearing skirts that you cannot even bend down to pick a pencil until you're going to the office. It's not an appropriate wear. There doesn't seem to be, from what I'm saying, from what I'm reading, there doesn't seem to be an understanding of the impression they're given. They seem to have no perception of whether they look professional. Whether they look professional, there is nothing to say. They understand self-respect for themselves. Is this about rebellion against society, against norm, against old people in courts now? Is it a rebellion against authority? Or is it just that they don't have a role model? But I can't say they don't have a role model. My father used to say, when in Rome, do as the Romans. I heard this throughout my life. And I understand it. When you go somewhere, it doesn't have to be an office. You go somewhere, you look around, you scan the place, and you should get a vibe. You should be able to read the room, read out the place. It's like when someone goes as a visitor to a complex and they're playing loud music. But when they go to the complex, it's quiet. There's no noise. And then you come in as a visitor and you crank up the music in your car and leave the windows and the doors open. And you don't understand why this is wrong. That gap of not understanding what real reality is where I'm going. That is where my problem is. Let me go back to the office siren. So you want to move up to the corporate ladder, but even you need to put one step indoors first. Then you need to check what is going on, what people are wearing in that office. I won't say interviews, but two people who actually put themselves on social media, they amazed me to the extent that I said I need to talk about this. One said she went for an interview. She was told to go home and change because what she was wearing was inappropriate, and they were willing to give her a chance to go home and change and come back to start interview. I'm telling you, interview. And she said no. She was okay. She was comfortable with what she was wearing. So she was told to go. They weren't going to interview her. And she couldn't understand why. Now she's crying and saying, why wouldn't they interview her? The second person got the job, according to her. On the first day, she she wore what she felt comfortable in and what whoever it is has told them on some of social media, this is what you wear as an office siren to the office. And she said, according to her, she met her boss for the first time that day. Boss told her, you're inappropriately dressed for the office. And according to her again, she said she stood up for herself. You've never seen this person before. You've never seen your new boss before. But you stood up for yourself. Told the boss how she felt. And she was used to people being jealous of her. I mean, seriously. She is saying this and I'm thinking, are you listening to what you're saying? Anyway, she was fired. And she's in shock as to why she was fired. Because she stood up for herself. Because she wore what she felt was comfortable. There was nothing in what she wore that was office-like. Because she should what she was watching. Sorry, what she was wearing. That's one. Something else that has been bugging me for years now, and it's getting worse. It's the normalization of vulgar language. I grew up not hearing a swear word. I grew up not hearing anybody curse anybody else. My parents never cursed each other. Certainly never cursed us. We were not rich. I had nothing to do with class. It was just the way we were brought up. And I did live around where I heard people use certain, and if you know my language, wow, a sailor will be ashamed sometimes to hear the words in my language. My language is very descriptive and people know how to use it. I will say that. I knew what some words meant, but it was never used in my family, in my environment. And I remember couldn't wait to be 18 and use the F word. But I'll tell you, till my father died, I never used the F word in front of him. In fact, up till today, I never used the F word in front of an adult in my family. And when I say that, I only used it for a little while because I thought it was a cool thing to do back then. You know, it was just what I just thought. I don't know where it came from. Until someone called me and said, do you know when you say that word, do you know how dirty it makes your mouth look? Says you've got a pretty mouth, but when that word comes out of your mouth, it just makes it dirty. I'm telling you, that was the end of it. Like, that's it. I'm done. I never said an F word again. Now I see parents using it to their children using it to their parents, offices, this is going on, people talk, and it's just the way to talk. Teenagers, oh my word, they just, it goes back and forth. And the ones that do not curse, the ones that do never use the F word, are the odd ones out. I don't know why this word has now gone from taboo to trendy. Media, yes. Music, yes. But we can't always blame everything on media and music. When I hear people saying stuff that they can, I always say, really, you cannot find a word to describe how you feel, that emotion you're going through. There's no word right now that can describe it. The F word is an English word, right? So is the S word, okay? It's an English word. So if you speak in English, you either don't have the vocabulary or, you just don't know the words. Your vocabulary, your understanding of that language is limited, and you just put the F word in it. And unfortunately, from my end, those that you're talking to, they understand what you're trying to say. And I can't lie, I do understand what you're saying, but it is not necessary. It is not necessary. I wonder when and why we have stopped guarding our language. And I wonder to what end? To feel cool? I know, and I'm not trying to be superior to anyone right now or be self-righteous, but I actually know families. I'm thinking as I'm making this recording, and I actually know families that have never heard that word said before. That I've never heard that word mentioned before. It is, and there's a particular person that I know whose understanding of the English language is amazing, totally amazing. It's never been necessary to swear. Why do we have to swear to be able to get our thoughts across? This is not about moving up with the times. It's just plain decency. In an office environment, a swear word shouldn't be coming out of your mouth. In talking to your friends, you should be able to talk to them, with manners. But that's something that has become old-fashioned now. The way people dress, okay, I'll say women, actually even men, some of them are just crazy now. The way people dress, the language that is used, manners have become something that is old-fashioned. Doing it, you are the odd person out. You are the odd man out. Women are walking around half naked. They're cursing in sentences. There is no please and thank you. You think this is I don't know, this is not necessary, this is so basic. Why are you talking about please and thank you? It's been polite. We can't even go all the way to opening doors or giving way to people, or all those little things that I grew up with, that I just assumed was normal. That line got erased at one point, and I don't know how or the when or the why. Why do we think being mannerless is trendy? Why do we think because we see someone in Hollywood on the red carpet or whatever it is that's happening, nude under what they're wearing, which means they're wearing something really transparent and we can basically see them. Before they used to wear panties and bra, but now they've left all modesty at home. They're just out in their birthday suit with some flimsy thing covering them. Why? I don't know. Why do you need to show your body to look good? There is no mystery anymore in being a woman. If everything is right there out there, you've given the free show to everybody. There's no mystery in it anymore. There's no layers to peel back for for somebody to look to find. There's nothing appealing, nothing alluring. It's just there. It's right there in public. And for some reason, normal people like me and like you, they think it's okay to then leave their house also half naked. And I wonder why. Why are you walking around like that? Again, in my language, in my culture, you'll be asked, don't you have friends? Is there nobody in your whole family, in your whole circle that likes you? Because if someone liked you, they wouldn't have allowed you to go out like this in public. My fear above all of this is that there is a gap. We're seeing all these things on the surface, and we're either just putting up with it or putting it down as bad manners. Remember the Karens? How did it become like that? People were behaving badly, seriously badly, either against a race, either against a gender. They were just behaving badly. And we said, oh, that's a Karen. Well, from somebody who started, one of the women who started this. And before you could say Jack Robinson, yeah, that shows, I know. Before you could say Jack Robinson, you have people who go to a fast food restaurant. They didn't like the service or didn't like the person behind the counter, and they then upend a bowl of hot chips onto someone who is busy at their work, or throw hot soup onto a poor girl who is trying to serve you, and then you walk away. There's no humanity in you. There's no thought in your head. How angry can you be that you just throw hot soup on someone? And then they're very surprised when sometimes these people, they react when they're smacked, when they're beaten up, or when they're arrested. They do these things and they think they're going to get away scot-free, and they walk away or they run away. And the shock when they're arrested, they can't believe they are arrested. But you wonder, what have we been doing? We just say, oh, that's a Karen or a Darren, I think. What do we call the men? What is the problem? Because there is a problem. There is an actual gap in the understanding of true reality, what reality actually is, what is an acceptable way of behavior. And these are adults. So what is an acceptable way of behavior and what is not acceptable? And the gap is what zone these people live in. I have no idea, but there's a gap. There is a gap. Because if you go to an office scantily dressed, and for some reason you think that is fine, and you are not, you cannot understand that, one, it is wrong. You cannot don't understand why people will say it is wrong. There is a problem. There's something that is not getting into your brain, and it should have got there before you got to that age to go to work. How do we become, or how have we become desensitized to what once was clear? I mean, I remember growing up, and we had to wear a vest. In my mother's day, or my grandmother's day, we call it a petticoat. And of course, as time went on, the way it was made was different, but we had to wear one. If you're wearing a certain color of dress, you had to wear, if you're wearing a light outfit, you had to wear a dark color underwear. All these things we were just brought up with as we grew. And I just wonder, where is this problem? Because the problem is an emotional and cultural blindness. That's what it is. We are, I don't even, there is no, so this is not a blanket, and I'm not saying generally. There has been a drop in parenting, proper parenting. There is I don't know if it's a lackadaisical attitude to parenting or just no parenting. You know, I was reading something the other day, and this parent were telling the teacher not to say no to their child, because they never say no to their child. It's not a word they use in the house. So if this child decides to cut your hair, what's going to happen? If this child decides to harm another child in the school, what's going to happen? How can you do that? I mean, then you have the guts to actually go up to the school to say to the teacher, do not say no to my child. So there's no role model at home, okay? And children need to be, they need to be molded in the right way. There is no leadership, proper leadership. For quite a lot of these kids, they are being brought up by the internet. They are believing this is life. And we know that that is not life. And then they get to a particular age, this age that I'm talking about, which is in their 20s, and they have no emotional maturity. They think life is what they see online. Because I'm going to have to go back to this, what they wear into the office. Who told you that's acceptable? When you got to the door of that office and you saw what everybody else was wearing, didn't something ping in your head to say, I need to go back home and change? Didn't something say, can I borrow, I don't know, a jacket, please? Can I go in and say, please, can I come back for my interview? I need to go change. No, you thought you were the cool beans or whatever language people use now. No, you were not. You were inappropriately dressed for somebody who was going to work in a corporate office. What are we teaching the next generation? What are they looking at? Who are they looking at? Who are they learning from? A very good friend of mine will say, we need to live life awake. Not because we're sleeping physically, but some of us are sleeping emotionally. Some of us are sleeping psychologically. Some of us are just like going through life in a dream state. You need to live life awake. We need to be aware. We need to be aware of our environment. I would like us to look at ourselves and say, whatever accepted as normal because everyone is doing it or because everyone has accepted it, even though it doesn't agree with me. For example, and I know I got some people don't like me because I said this. If you're speaking to me and you swear or use the F word, whatever the word, or I'm in a group where I say it to everyone. I say, I'm sorry. No, I'm not like I'm sorry, but I don't like that word. Could you please not use it? And or like I go somewhere and everyone is drinking and they say, oh no, you're a party popper because you're not drinking. I'm old enough to be able to say I don't want to drink. I'm not drinking because I don't want to do it. I don't care if that's going to make you sad. You're not in my body. I just don't want to do it. We need to be able to stand up for what is right and what is wrong. And all this thing about your truth, they're just the one. Okay, this is right and this is wrong. Because if everybody started living their truth, then it's just chaos. It's just chaos. All this started gradually. And at some point, we just gave them a label and we just let it go. We can't do that anymore. I'd like us to look at ourselves. What is your blind spot? Examine yourself. Examine the blind spots and examine why you've accepted it. I'd like us to become more conscious, mindful of our behavior, of our speech, of our actions. I'd like us to exhibit emotional intelligence. Ruts don't start loud. It starts small, it's quiet, it's mostly unnoticed until it spreads. When you see it, name it. And when you name it, do what you can to correct it. We have to do it for ourselves, and we have to do it for those watching us. It's been Coffee with Tim. Thank you for listening. And if this made sense to you, please subscribe and share this with somebody else. Please subscribe and share this with somebody else. Bye for now.